What is up, everyone? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to talk about champions that have no equal in the game. Champions that can do things that no one else can. And trust me when I'm telling you that we have some very, very unique champions in this game. That's what makes Raid so special, right? Having all these different champions that can do so many different things that keep our minds busy. Creating different strategies, different teams for clan boss, for dungeons, for arena. We're going to cover multiple rarities as well. We're going to do rares, we're going to do legendaries, we're going to do epics, because we have quite a few champions. Now, there might be a small chance that I might miss a couple of champions, or we might disagree on a few champions. Let me know in the comments down below which champion you think it should be on the list, or if you think that I missed a specific champion, let me know in the comments down below, of course, because I want to know as well. And keep in mind, I am not talking about OP champions in today's video, guys. I'm not talking about Krisk. I'm not talking about Madame Series, because they can do a lot of things, but a lot of other champions can do things that they can do as well. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I'm talking about those very unique champions that literally have no replacement whatsoever, okay? So I'm going to start with the rare champions. I'm going to talk about some rare champions first. We're going to move to epics or legendaries and do epics after. We're just going to go freestyle, guys. And I'm quickly going to walk you a bit through what things you can do with these champions. So I'm going to start directly with the undead. We're going to go right here at this bad boy, Corporal and Cadaver. A lot of you guys are like, what? Excuse me? Well, you guys have no idea that this is the hardest hitting champion for clan boss in the entire game. He can deal over 1 million damage per hit, okay? He's part of the Infinity Clan Boss comp, and he is just amazing. Honestly, this right here is just like, wow. Attacks one enemy, inflicts additional damage if this champion is under a shield buff. The damage is equal to 30% of the value of the shield. So this right here, guys, can drop so much damage on Clan Boss that honestly, you're just shocked when you're gonna see what power he can have. I feel like he's gonna be able to deal in a proper Infinity comp run. I think he's gonna deal like 800 million damage. Especially the world record teams. He has like hundreds and hundreds of millions. That's how much damage he deals. And he's a rare champion. He has no equal. No one else in this game can do what this champion can. And that's definitely a very, very important thing to keep in mind. Moving over to our next champion, guys. I actually have quite a few solid rares, and some of them, they're not necessarily a must build. You know, you don't have to build these champions. Some of them, they don't really provide you necessarily that much utility all around. They're more like fun champions to try things out with them and this sort of stuff, you know. But right here at Night Revenants, we actually have a couple of different champions. I'm going to start with Daywalker. I feel like he's a very, very unique champion, and I really like the whole idea of his kit. The only problem is that his damage is not critical, and I don't like that idea. So, revives this champion with 30% HP and attacks all enemies after being killed. This hit cannot be critical. Back in the day, this was not mentioned that he cannot crit, so I tried multiple ones to do some crazy things. I really wanted to have tons of fun with them, but unfortunately, was not as great, because if you don't crit, you're not going to deal tons of damage to one-shot mobs. But this is a pretty fun thing. You can still run like 4 of them and even throw them on a stun set and just have fun around. They will be able to kill a team. But the whole idea is that, yeah, it's not as fun as he's supposed to be, you know, unfortunately. Another rare champion that's very solid is Coffin Smasher. So we have a tag down on his A1. We have HP burn on the A2. But the passive is what makes him so unique. Decreases the damage enemies inflict with AoE attacks by 5%. So that makes him a pretty good attack down for clan boss early on for progression. If you guys don't have any other better options, this AoE damage reduction can be pretty solid. One thing that we used to say back in the day, because now most of the clan boss teams are unkillable, Infinity Shield. Back in the day, it was not like this. We used to have 1-to-1 ratio teams with high defense teams, counter-attack teams. That's kind of like what it used to be, the classic team. We always used to say that if your team dies on the AoEs, your clan boss team is not good. Your team needs to start breaking up on the stun. That means that your team is pretty solid, they have a good survivability, and they're well synergized, you know. So the clan boss should make its first kill on the stun, that will mean that you have a decent clan boss team. So it can actually help you quite a bit as a champion. Very solid in terms of stats, magic affinity. Moving over to the next champion, guys. And this time around is gonna be a dwarf. I feel like he's a very, very solid one. And I don't find any equal for him. He's like such a fun champion, master butcher. And not just fun, he's actually good in particular places in the game. You can run him on the Bomal, for example. What makes him so amazing? Well, he has these two different passives, right? With the first one, when attacked, heals all allies equal to the amount of damage taken. Does not work against bosses. So this can be fun like in arena if you want to play around with him. This one right here revives a random ally with full HP when this champion is killed, okay? So this is very unique. Nobody else has this skill. And it actually can be such a massive clutch for the Bommel, for the Dreadhorn boss. Plus, he can be very powerful in secret rooms for the Doom Tower guys. I'm actually using him in my team. Definitely a solid choice for it as well. Moving over to our last rare champion, guys. And that's no one else but Ironclad. Like, he has this unique skill. Whenever he gets healed, he's gonna get to attack. Now, that is on a 1-turn cooldown. When healed, will attack all enemies. Inflict damage proportional to any surplus heal. Damage inflicted is equal to 50% of any heal. Now, you can use some crazy heals on him and do pretty solid damage. He can stun with this, so if you have a stun set on him, this skill actually works to help with that. Again, I am using him in secret rooms because it's pretty fun to use. And I actually tried him a lot of times in arena just like for fun to test him out with different champions that have solid heals. We tried him with Chaplain, we tried him with Setalia, we tried him even with Demita. Quite a few champions actually that are giving him tons of heal. So that's pretty solid for Ironclad. Another one that I want to mention though, because I just realized that I missed him, and that is Bog Walker. So Bog Walker has this passive as well. Places a 30% reflect damage buff on all allies for 1 turn when attacked with a critical hit. I just remembered that I actually thought about using him in arena back in the day. And just to kill Tranda with her double hit, thinking that, okay, the first hit is going to put reflect damage on my entire team. The second one is going to kill Tranda and is going to destroy the enemies there. So it's going to be a bit of a problem for them to wreck my team. But unfortunately, yeah, the reflect damage is not that powerful all around. So definitely not the best thing. Moving over to epic champions. Okay, let's talk about epics. We're going to leave legendaries for the last. One of my favorite epic champions nowadays is no one else but Geomancer, okay? So, yeah, I know, HP burn, weaken, that's fine. But what makes him so unique is the passive. So this passive allows you to melt bosses. That's one thing to keep in mind. And the reason for it is not because, oh my god, he's gonna hit so hard. He actually doesn't hit hard at all. But the passive allows you to drop damage on the boss whenever the boss hits you or your allies while the boss is under a HP burn. And that works kind of like the enemy max HP. You're gonna deal tons of damage. Of course, it has a cap, so more like a War Master Giant Slayer proc. Let me just put it like that in terms of the damage that we can get out of it. So he's very, very solid as a champion. Love him for the Hydra. Decent base stats. It's a bit slowish for my taste to say like that, but he's a pretty solid one. AoE on the A1, decrease accuracy, removes buffs. Very solid as a champion, honestly. But mainly, what makes him so unique is that passive, and with the A3, very, very good for damage. I cannot recommend Geomancer enough, guys. Moving over to the next champion. Let's see. Can you guys guess it? Can you guys guess it? Who do we have here? We have Allure. So what about Allure? She has this powerful A1 that no one else has. Yeah, we do have Blind Seer, but she only has a small chance of doing what she can do with the A1 and not even as good. So this makes Allure one of the most powerful turn meter manipulation champion in the entire game. Just for the simple fact that with the A1, she can ensure that the bosses will never get a turn as long as we can manipulate the turn meter with them. So attacks 3 times at random, decreases the target's turn meter by 25 on each critical hit. That means that every turn, she decreases the turn meter by 75%. That is, wow, that is huge, guys. That's why she's the #1 champion for the Fire Knight, right? Most of the people are running Fire Knight stage 24, 25 with Allure because she's such a solid champion. Great for the Dark Fae. I wouldn't say she's great for a Spider and Ice Golem or quite a few other bosses. She's great for the Scarab King as well, depending on what team you're running, if you're not soloing it, of course. And keep that under control as well with the Thermitter manipulation. But overall, that's what makes her unique. We don't care about the A2, don't really care about the A3 or her passive. All we care about is the A1 for Allure. That's how special she is. Now, if I'm gonna move over to the next champion again, this is gonna be a very, very unique epic champion. And probably you guys know who I'm talking about. It's no one else but Seer. And she does it so well, okay? It's not that she's unique. She does it so well. Like, her Karma Burn removes all buffs from all allies and enemies, then attacks. And the damage is proportional with the amount of buffs she's taking away from everybody. She can do damage to up to 1 million, okay? That's how powerful she is as a champion. And there is no one else in the entire game that can do what she does. We do have enemy max HP hitters, 100%. But nobody can do what Seer does. That's why she's the #1 most used champion for speedruns in any dungeons, stage 20, 21 upwards. Because she melts waves and she's just so good. Even for arena, you can try her for arena, guys. You'll be surprised. If you have enough buffs and you land the defense down on the enemy team, they might even get a cheeky buff on themselves. You're gonna wreck them. You're gonna wreck them with Karma Burn from Seer. A good thing to keep in mind. Moving over to the Sacred Order, I actually have a couple of epics that I want to talk about right here. One is Inquisitor Chamel. What's so special about him? Now, we've seen him skyrocketing with Hydra like crazy. Yeah, he deals pretty good damage with this skill. Places a fear, blah, blah, blah. The A1, again, decent, has a chance to decrease the duration of a buff. But the passive. Each critical hit fills this champion's Thermitter by 7.5. Whenever an ally receives a fear or a true fear debuff from an enemy, this skill will instantly remove the debuff and fill the ally's Thermitter by 15%. Now, in Hydra, it kind of like prioritizes the lead all the time, which is a thing that I found pretty strange, right? Because I was expecting it to work for every champion in part whenever the fear is gonna get removed, but this makes him even more powerful for Hydra. And there is no other champion to deal with fear in such a good way like him. Plus, he's great for the Dark Fae. Just generally, he can smack. If you have more buffs on him, the A3 can do so much damage for arena or other places like this. Is absolutely crazy. So Inquisitor Chamel definitely deserves the spot on this list. And the next one is Cardinal. What about Cardinal, Skratch? Well, she has this unique skill, okay? They are champions that have revives all that allies 100% Thermitter. They are. We have Sifi, we have Raglin, and probably there are a couple of more that I just missed right now from the top of my mind. But Cardinal fills the Thermitter to maximum. So that means that, for example, you have a Hegemon in your team, you're gonna destroy my team. Then you have your Sifi at 440 speed, okay? That's how fast your Sifi is. 440. Imagine that. Probably nobody has that in the game just yet, but just as an idea. Let's just say that you're gonna have that. I'm gonna get to revive with my Cardinal all my team. So I'm gonna have 120 speed Kale, for example, as my damage dealer. And I'm gonna revive him. He's gonna take his turn before your 440 speed Sifi. Just because this Thermitter goes all the way to the maximum potential in the game. And there is no other champion that can do it. Probably a lot of you guys tried Cardinal on Stone Skin, tried her in Arena, because she's so much fun. I cannot recommend the champion more. She was my very first Void Epic on my account. And then I looked at this, attacks one enemy, 10% chance to place a poison. I have a Steel Skull. I fed her, guys, just so you know. I actually used her as food. But that was long time ago. I don't regret it, because I wasn't going to have a use for her at that point. But honestly, she is top notch as a champion. Now moving over to some legendaries. Let me start with the most obvious legendary that you guys can think of. And probably you know what I'm talking about. It's no one else but Hegemon, okay? So Hegemon has this passive. Always goes first each round. Man, I wish I would have that passive in the game. I always go first against everyone, but unfortunately I don't. Only Hegemon does. And this is something very, very powerful for Arena. Okay, I know it's not great for Clan Boss. He's not a Clan Boss champion or great for other places in the game. But for Arena, man, he is such a beast. Like, he has no equal whatsoever. Because no one can do this. I'm curious if they're ever gonna bring anything similar in the game. Now, he was not a vanilla champion, an OG one. He was added to the game like probably 7 months after the game got released, or around there. But honestly, he's such a beast of a champion, Hegemon. Void Affinity, hard to get, so yeah, a lot of people can just keep on dreaming about him, you know, that's kind of like the way it goes. The next champion that I want to talk about, it needs to be under Priest Brogni, and probably some of you guys are like, Skratch, well, doesn't Geomancer kind of do like the same thing that Brogni does with their passive? No. So Geomancer's passive is totally different from whatever Brogni has. For Brogni, it's all about the shield, okay? And he gets to heal from there and reflect damage from the shield. While Geomancer needs HP burn to reflect damage, and it works completely different. And his passive is not the only unique thing that he can do. On the A3, he can actually land the shield on your entire team. That cannot be removed. And the A2 is the only champion in the game that increases the duration of shield, especially AoE, which allows you to do infinity comp teams. You cannot do it without Brogni, and unfortunately we have no equal for Brogni either. He was a fusion champion, and at that time was pretty hard to get him, unfortunately. It was a pretty hard fusion. A lot of people missed on it because it was so hard to get, but totally worth it. So that makes another legendary champion. What else we have in the menu, Skratch? What else we have in the menu? Let's go to the Dark Elves. And right here, I want to talk about no one else but Ghostburn, okay? So he has all these skills. Decreased defense cannot be resisted. He lands increased attack at the same time, AoE. I wish we would have different champions that can do this, you know, because if you're missing him, you're not going to have guaranteed 100% easy runs on waves when you're trying to rag them, especially on the higher stages of dungeons. So that's where Ghostburn comes in play, you know. I wish we would have a Void Affinity. Maybe Baron one day is going to get a buff and his A2 is going to become AoE. Keep on dreaming, Skratch. That's kind of like my dream buff for Baron. But basically, this allows you to have guaranteed runs. On the Spider, for example, we used to run him on stage 20 before the other stages came out for defense down with Cold Hearts Royal Guards, just like 3 or 4 Cold Hearts or 4 Royal Guards as an idea, and him. And they used to do that 100% win rate. Now, if you're running, for example, a Dracomorph or somebody else, he's going to get resisted. If they're going to get resisted, you're not going to deal the damage that you need to kill the boss. So that's the whole idea with Ghostburn. And he's very unique because no one else has that skill. Moving over to another champion that I really want to mention, guys, is no one else but Nakrat, okay? So if we're going to go right here at the Undead, another Void Legendary, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately, unfortunately, depending on how lucky you get, but it's pretty hard to drop from shards. So we have so many things in his kit, but what makes him special are actually his passives, guys. So starting with this one, Unsleeping Aegis. Whenever an ally is attacked while under ally protection, placed by this champion, places a shield on the ally, occurs only if the ally doesn't have a shield. This can keep alive a champion that's not even leveled up. So I remember the first day when I tested Nakrat, I took him in with a level 20 champion, a 3-star, and he survived the Trunda hit. That's how good that passive is. It's absolutely amazing. And then this one places block debuff strengthen for 3 turns on the ally with the lowest HP, and then an ally protection for 6 turns, okay, which cannot be removed, before Hegemon takes his turn. So this is the #1 counter for Hegemon, because he's gonna give you this immunity on your Savage Nuker, for example, or on your debuffer that has high accuracy, or depending what you want to protect. But honestly, this is such a powerful champion. This kit all around is just amazing. I love everything about Nakrat. The ally protection, the A3, very powerful. Top-notch champion, and he was one of the best additions that we had last year in the game, 100%. Moving over to the last champion, guys. Now, I'm a bit kind of like in a pickle here. We have a couple of champions that I want to mention, so seems like you're getting a bonus one. Let me start with Cecil. So Cecil right here has this unique skill as well. Places HP burn. If she lands it on everybody, grants an extra turn, which drops her into this skill. This instantly activates the HP burn debuffs on each target and decreases the duration of the HP burn debuffs by 1 turn. Plus she does other things. She hits pretty hard with her skills. Weaken, defense down. She actually detonates HP burn. Think about Xavier or other champions that detonate poisons. Well, she can do that with the HP burn, and she's the only champion in the game that can actually do it the way she does it. I know we have Ninja, which is a bit different, and no, but people can't get him anymore, so I don't want to talk about Ninja because it's pretty pointless, unfortunately. But moving over to the last champion, guys, that I quickly want to mention, okay? So, yeah, Lydia is very powerful as a champion, 100%. I feel like Mitrala, she has this crazy passive that makes her so unique and allows us to give her like 1,000,000 resistance. Plus, we have the Petrification, the only champion in the game that can do it so far, which is pretty hard to make it happen, though. But the whole idea is, increases this champion's resistance. The amount by which it is increased is equal to the amount of accuracy this champion has. And that's pretty solid. I know Hellier has something similar, but this one on Mitrala just works so good. And then we have the Petrification, and we need accuracy on her to land the debuffs. That's why it works so good with her kit, and that's what makes her so unique. She buffs a lot, she debuffs a lot, but as a champion, Mitrala, she is one of the best that you can actually get. And we're getting quite a few of them for free by just completing content. That should complete our list for today, guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that I missed anyone that's very special, very unique. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.